that it was caused by war hysteria, racial prejudice, and the failure of political leadership. Then in August of 1988, you would find the passage of the Civil Liberties Act, where the President of the United States, the highest authority in the land, President Reagan, offered his formal apology for the incarceration of Japanese Americans. More recently, the U.S. Congress, the U.S. Senate, selected a Japanese American to become pro tempore of the United States Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, a position fourth in line for the U.S. presidency. And only 70 years ago, this same Japanese American was given draft classification 4C, for Charlie, 4C, which stands for enemy alien, unfit for military duty. Okay? It speaks of the greatness of America. The greatness of America. A country which caused a huge constitutional mistake has the heart to apologize for it at the highest authority of the government. Made corrections, as I had mentioned, and moved forward. If General Marshall were alive today, I believe he would be pleased that his goal was the integration of ethnic Japanese in American society, has been achieved. Thank you very much for helping me out today.
I don't know, 20 years ago or so, the Congress had the Reparations Act for the Japanese. I think it was $20,000. What did people think of that? Was that not enough, or were they grateful, or what were their feelings?
$20,000 for each living person in the internment camp. But for that, there is a person who is here today who spent time in camp. Why don't I ask Bob to answer that question? Yes. $20,000 reparations. What's that now?
Yeah. Well, I was 10 years old when I went to camp as a kind of a very liberal person. All of a sudden I find myself behind barbed wire with tanks rolling around. So I'm kind of a very conservative person. And later on when, like I said, President Reagan signed the word, and President Bush issued us each a $20,000 for being in camp, I took that money and started a business, which I've had for 25 years. Yeah. Well, at that time, my folks were getting started in business. They lost, well, we had a farm and about 20 acres of land, but they lost a gas station, a restaurant, a boarding house, 10 acres of land along the Prime Highway. And we got reimbursed in 1958, 10 cents on the dollar based on 1939 prices. But fortunately, all my brothers and sisters were able to go to college. And my dad always said, I'm going to send you to a private college instead of a public college. I said, that doesn't really matter.
That's amazing. And that, it was my understanding that these families had about 2 weeks. Is that correct?
You didn't have
2 weeks to
Pack
pack up and, yeah.
How much time did you have when they gave you the notice that you were going to have to pack up?
I think we had about 48 hours to get rid of everything. From the time the Army came, the time we packed, and we're only allowed 1 suitcase
What you can carry.
for each one of us to go. And fortunately, our folks are very friendly with a Portuguese family that really literally took over for the 3 years that we were gone. So that turned out fine. But when 3 years gone by, we moved right back into our house. Others are not so fortunate. They didn't have homes, they're renting places. So there are a lot of people that are displaced. And we helped out a lot of displaced families get started. And probably to this day, some people will never really recover, but most have, yeah. So, the Asian American culture is very high on education, so a lot of people got educated and have kind of escaped the farm route and are in all kinds of professions now. So I've decided I'd make a lousy farmer.
I mentioned that in the Pacific, our men had different jobs. One was to wear the earphone and listen to enemy communication. Let me tell you one story, and that is one of our Japanese American person who was manning the earphones picked up a Japanese communication signal. And that communication was that Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, the Japanese naval commander for the Pacific, was flying from his naval base to the front line to inspect the troops. And they were flying over Guadalcanal. So our person who was manning the earphone reported that P-38s were sent up at the right time, at the appointed time, at the reported time that he was going to be flying over Guadalcanal, and demolished Admiral Yamamoto's air convoy. And Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, as you